I'm back. Remember, one day at a time, and all it takes. Nothing is too overwhelming, one day at a time. What I'm going to talk to you today about is the 3 main reasons you're not losing weight. This is what I've seen helping tens of thousands of women in the last few years. I've been in the fitness industry for 10 plus years, rugby. I've always been around macros training, weight loss, muscle gain, all that stuff. There's 3 key things. Number 1, the most frequent one I see is you're underestimating your calorie intake, right? Dietitians suck at this. They suck at that. We do a quiz every week with, I'm doing a quiz every week with some of the members that I got on Live Like Louise, and at the end of the quiz, I always do guess the calories in these products. And honestly, the success rate's 5-10%. I'm not saying that you're meant to know, because we're not. It's so hard to actually estimate the calories and stuff, especially when you're eating out. So for example, a Nando's half chicken with a large chips is 1,250 calories. Wagamama's katsu curry, chicken katsu curry, 1,150 calories. So there's a lot of calories in foods that we think are kind of healthy, but it doesn't matter if they're healthy or not, they go high in calories. And the studies show that women underestimate the amount of calories they eat by 1,000 a day in the study they did on these obese women. And then with the men, it was 800 or 850 calories. So basically, you're underestimating, I think it was 30 to 50% of your calories a day. So before you start thinking this doesn't work, that doesn't work, are you actually tracking properly? And there's people I don't want to track, but you have to track to start with. You have to know where you're at. You can't improve what you can't measure. And if you are a business and I came to you, mate, your business is going down, I don't know what's going on, money's leaking everywhere, we're going to be out of business in 3 weeks. And then someone came with a suggestion of saying, okay, how about we track everything, we make sure that we track every pound that comes in and every pound that leaves the business, so we know exactly where we're at. So where are we leaking money? The people in the business will be like, yeah, good idea, mate, that sounds class, let's do it, because they will then know where the problem lies. But when we say it to our own bodies, or people look, if you're in a position you don't want to be in, and you don't know how you're putting all this weight on, well, I know how, you're underestimating, but you don't actually know how, where you're underestimating. And it's time to do a full evaluation. It's time to track everything. People say you track your expenses and money, and then they're like, yeah, it's a great idea. But when it comes to our own body, for some reason, people are scared to do it because they think it's bad for mental health and stuff. It's kind of social media has told people now, you don't need to lose weight. You should be happy in your own skin, which is fine, which is great. But if someone does want to lose weight because they do feel bad and they feel they've put on too much weight for their height or whatever, they want to just feel better, you can't shame them for doing it. So guys, don't be scared of tracking, because we need to know where you're at. Number 2, overestimate activity. You're overestimating how many calories you're burning. When you look at your metabolic rate, it's made up of 4 things, right? There's your base metabolic rate, survival calories. You've got your exercise activity. You've got your non-exercise activity, which is walking, fidgeting, talking, whatever. And then you've got the thermic effect of food, right? The bulk of your metabolism, 50%-ish, is your base metabolic rate, your BMR. The second biggest impact is your non-exercise activity. So the stuff you're doing is outside the gym or training. Then it's the thermic effect of food, and then it's exercise activity. So your exercise activity doesn't account for a huge amount of your metabolic rate, but some people think they train hard 3 times a week, that's enough. And you go to Orange Theory and they told me it's burning 900 calories a sesh. Let me tell you, I wasn't. There is no way I was burning 900 calories a session. So you've got these Fitbits, you've got these Apple Watches, all this stuff, right? They're going to be miles off. You can use them to track your own activity, compare your own data, and then it might tell you if you're being more active than your usual. But if it tells you you're burning all these calories, it's not, right? And people will use MyFitnessPal and then eat back the calories they've burned, and then they're just stuck in this hole and they don't know what's going wrong. So when you combine these 2, so you've got underestimating calories, you've got overestimating activity, and that's causing some big problems. So you have to start measuring. I wouldn't even bother working out how many calories you burn in a workout. Your workouts shouldn't be made for you to burn calories. You should train for things that's not fat loss. So if I'm going to train, I should train to be, okay, I want to be a runner, I want to do a 10K, or I want to be stronger, I want to be I want to improve my performance. That's your goals. Your goals should be performance-based with your training, and not calorie-based, because it's just stupid to do calorie-based goals in your training when it's such a tiny percentage of your total daily energy expenditure, right? Does that make sense? All right, and the third thing, the reason you're not losing weight, water retention. You are 60% water, roughly. So for you to think that your body's not going to fluctuate in water weight is just like nuts if you think about it. Obviously, your body's going to fluctuate in water, depending on how much water you're drinking, the food you're eating, the sodium levels, exercise, whatever it may be. But don't confuse water with fat, okay? Like that's one of the probably the most common mistakes people do, is to think that their total weight is representative of their total fat. When actually, yes, you might see a pattern in obviously total weight coming down as fat loss comes down, of course, but on a day-to-day basis, going up and down 2 or 3 pounds a day is quite normal, and that doesn't mean you're putting on 2 to 3 pounds of fat. For you to put on 1 pound of fat, you're gonna have to eat 3,500 calories over your maintenance level. So my maintenance would be about 2,800, 3,000 calories. I'd have to eat 6,500 calories in one day to put a pound of fat on. Now that's not an exact conversion as well. It might be a bit less, but the thing is, like, when you think about it, are you really going to be eating 3,500 calories over your maintenance? You probably haven't. Like, and that's why it's important. Like, one bad day is not going to ruin things, but 2 really, really bad days, and you could go massive and eat, 3 pizzas, 4 pizzas, and loads of alcohol, which is high in calories. You can put a lot of like excess calories in, and you could put like a pound of fat on in a weekend. But like, if you're being sensible, there's not really, like, if you think about it, you're not really going to be doing that. So the 3 things: underestimating calories, you're overestimating your activity, and you're not really paying attention that water retention is the culprit for most weight fluctuations, and not the fat you're gaining overnight, which you think is happening. So I hope this has helped. If you stick to these things, and also like one of the things you're going to have to do is, when you're underestimating calories, you have to stop lying to yourself. You have to stop lying and making up nonsense and bullshit in your brain about how, well, I don't, like, some people will say like, oh, my friend's so skinny, but she eats loads of food. How is she so skinny? I'm like, well, actually, like, you might see her eat like a decent amount when you see her, but for the rest of the times, what her body is telling us is that she is not eating much food because she's so thin. Someone else could be obese, and they'd be like, I've seen her, but she doesn't eat much. Like, what you see is not the true story, tip of the iceberg. What her body is showing is that she is overeating and the weight's coming on. And that's the thing with your body, like, you can't really lie. The body doesn't lie. Where my physique is today is an accumulation of everything I've done over my life to get to this point. So my choices, my decisions, my eating habits, my training habits, to what I am today, this is the result. If you are like overweight or obese, like, you would have had to have been in a calorie surplus to put all that weight on. Like, that's just the truth of it. Like, you're not the abnormality to the human race in regards to you don't abide by the laws of physics and the laws of science. Like, so when you think of it that way, you are the accumulation of your habits and your actions and your decisions and the food intake and the training and the exercise. So yeah, I'm going to leave you with that. Be honest with yourself. Take it one day at a time. Follow these 3 things. Guarantee success. Happy days.